Hello, everybody. This is Chairman Jack of the ULF, and today I'm accompanied by.
Hi, everyone. This is Comrade Toras.
And today we're going to start a series of simple "What is" videos explaining what certain topics are, what they mean, and just give real brief summaries for people who want to either learn what this topic means or just want a simple refresher, or just people who are interested in learning in general. So we're going to start out with defining imperialism, and right now we have Lenin's definition, which is a very brief one that he admits is quite brief, and you should read Imperialism, the Highest Stage of Capitalism for more info. But we're going to give the very brief definition, so I'll hand it over to you.
So from the text, if it were necessary to give the briefest possible definition of imperialism, we should have to say that imperialism is the monopoly stage of capitalism. Such a definition would include what is most important for, on the one hand, finance capital is the bank capital of a few very big monopolist banks merged with the capital of the monopolist associations of industrialists. And on the other hand, the division of the world is the transition from a colonial policy which has extended without hindrance to territories unseized by any capitalist power to a colonial policy of monopolist possession of the territory of the world, which has been completely divided up.
Yeah, so to give, I think to give a modern example would be, the United States with how they came into other countries, they'd established these borders that are extremely artificial and defended artificial borders, have repeatedly overthrown governments and do whatever they want in order to spread finance capital. See, like in Colombia, where the U.S. overthrew their government, or at least threatened to repeatedly, well, actually did overthrow their government, threatened to do it again repeatedly in the 90s, was the main reason why they allowed extradition of like Escobar and things like that after overthrowing their governments and doing whatever they wanted to have whatever influence in, or even now with a corporate aspect with Coca-Cola killing union leaders in Colombia, and nothing happens because the U.S. says if you do anything to Coca-Cola in Colombia, we will destroy you. So it really just shows like they'll go to whatever reach that they need to defend corporations. And that is solely due to the fact of, how capitalism works.
Right, they'll keep pushing these class antagonisms, and they'll keep pushing that past the point where it's sustainable, and all of a sudden you see the relationships where you have a complete monopoly and a complete dominance of the finance capital and of these small corporations dominating what is entire nations, entire, groups of people, entire regions, just simply because like they are in control of the finance capital that controls the movement of all of the economics.
Yeah, I think it's very critical to know of like how things have developed and how things have their modern lookout due to being like a unipolar world. To increasingly becoming multipolar is the main antagonism to, and we'll get to this in other videos when we talk about contradiction, but we need to constantly be aware of what U.S. imperialism is and never shy close to even remotely trying to defend the U.S. abroad, as all you're doing is aiding the State Department and their line of and these corporations that control the United States to be able to do whatever they want abroad. So I would just say, in this quick explainer, is always like, if the U.S. is saying something of a line to take, you probably should investigate how you should take the opposite due to the sheer nature of imperialism and propaganda.
Right, because it serves to further its own interests, and of course they would advocate for the proliferation of their own system and the proliferation of their own profits. So when you hear these things, when you hear things about Iran, when you hear things about Russia, when you hear things about China, a critical lens needs to be applied so that you can actually make sense of what you're hearing instead of falling into the same dogmatic type of thinking that traps people in an imperialist framework.
Exactly. So to real cap it off, I would just say imperialism has to exist under capitalism. You can't reject the idea of social imperialism due to basically Lenin's definition saying it's the spreading of finance capital. It is the spreading of destroying different countries and establishing new territory and establishing territorial dominance over another country. So I would say reject things like social imperialism and really view, from Lenin's words, what imperialism is. It is the highest stage of capitalism, and you cannot be an imperialist if you are not a capitalist.
Right, and also to give credence to the fact that imperialism is the endpoint teleology of capitalism.
Yeah.
It is where capitalism leads invariably.
Because it always has to spread.
Exactly, and there is no way to be a capitalist without also believing in imperialism and believing in everything that brings and the downfall that will bring for so many people around the world.
So anyway, this has been our first What Is video. I've been Chairman Jack.
Thank you so much, Chairman. Comrade Taras.